All right, hello. We're gonna get started here. Just a few housekeeping notes before we begin. Please make sure when you come into the class that you are muted. It just limits distractions for our speaker. It is up to you if you want your camera on or off. If you have it off, we just prefer, or we just want you to be able to attend to the material. After the class, there will be time for questions. But my name is Allie Shipman, and I am here at the WVU CED, and you are here for the virtual speaker series. In today's session, it's tips and tricks for managing challenging behaviors with confidence. We welcome behavior support specialist and curriculum developer, Ashley Benson. Go ahead, Ashley.
Thanks so much, Allie. All right. I hope everyone is enjoying their day so far. I'm really excited to get to sit here with you all. I posted something in the chat, and you can utilize this alongside this PowerPoint. So this guide is meant as a workbook for families or providers to give to families to work with them. And it'll go along all the things that we're talking about today so that you have a better chance to utilize the strategies and the things we're talking about, shift them specifically for your children and for your own family members as best as they fit you. You guys all know your children better than anyone will ever know them. And so shifting it in ways that make sense for your family is really, really important. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I also have a few members of the positive behavior support team in the chat as well. So feel free to post any questions or anything like that that you would, you have. We'll be monitoring it. And just as a reminder for everybody, if we could please mute our microphones so that way we don't get any feedback or anything. Okay. All right, so today we're going to focus on building connections and understanding with our children. And when we're looking at challenging behaviors that are occurring, it's really, really easy to feel overwhelmed, to feel alone, to feel isolated or separated. And our goal today is to really think about how, we're viewing these behaviors, understanding them a little bit more so that way we can create some shifts in the household that are beneficial for everybody and their well-being. So we're going to go over some very specific strategies. And again, that workbook is, and I'm so sorry, Kathleen, could you please mute your mic for me? I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. So again, the workbook is a really great strategy to utilize and figure out how you can specifically use these strategies for your family. And we're going to go over some very specific tools, go over the child's strengths, and we're going to keep this really positive and uplifting so we can use what's going well to continue to find good things and to shift from there. And as always, this is going to be a judgment-free space. We are here to support one another, to learn, to grow together, and to hold space for one another. So I really, really love this image right here. We've all seen this iceberg in various forms, and this one is a really, really great one at exemplifying what we see on top as a behavior. What we're going to see on the surface is so, so small compared to what's generally under that surface. And then you'll notice again the quotes around bad, right? And so when we think of behavior, we're really, really going to highlight today that behavior is neither good nor bad. It just is. And so when we're thinking about behavior, we're going to see the things that are surface level as they appear on the top. And we're really going to get curious about what is happening under that surface. And there's a few different things that we're going to look at under that surface. That is a context, what is happening in that child's life, their environment, school environment, home, community, things that are greater than that child. And then as well as the things that are happening internally with that child. Do they have skills that they need to develop still? Are they still learning some different things? Are they experiencing anything internally? Do they have communication deficits that they're still working on? Are they tired? Are they stressed? Are they going through anxiety? Are they sad? Have they had trauma in their lives that have impacted them? All these different things that each of us individually are going to experience under our surface when we have something else that comes up on top, right? We're getting frustrated. It might appear as we're just frustrated and mean for no reason, but on the inside, there's generally some reason. So we're really going to think about that today. So as we go through behaviors, we're going to start to figure out what is that need for that behavior and is a skill needed. And when I say is a skill needed, We can think about, again, if it's a communication deficit, do I need to work on my communication? Do I need to learn how to wait for a few more seconds? Do I need to learn how to advocate for myself or ask for help? These sorts of things are the things that we're going to consider as we move through whatever behavior that we're experiencing. And our goal is to learn how to notice a message behind the behavior so that way we can get ahead of it. And I'm pretty sure if we were all sitting in a room today and I asked everyone to raise their hand if they have heard before that they are their child's safe space, that almost everybody here would probably raise their hand, right? Yes, you're your child's safe space. You're going to get all their big behaviors because you're their safety. And I know that that is a really, really heavy weight to hold and to carry. So when we're thinking about safe space, though, when we're thinking about this, I want us to understand that, yes, it does come with a lot of weight to hold. However, when we start to think about the things that we are able to utilize and shift with our child, it actually can be a really big superpower, even though it can be really heavy to hold sometimes. So when we are our child's safe space, when we are working with them, even through those hard times, we can create some shifts. And it's really, really important also to learn our own limits. And I'm going to go back into, caregiver fatigue, because this is such a big one. But figuring these things out so that way we can shift and grow with them. As parents, caregivers, we are our child's safe space. We are, the foundation of growth. And so how do we wiggle with that when there's so much on top of it? We're going to kind of go through that today. Figuring out how we can open with connection, how we can utilize that connection, how we can find their strengths, increase their strengths, increase our strengths too, because we're humans trying our best as well all the time, right? And then find that steady spot so that way we can move forward. And it's a really, really powerful tool. But again, as I said, that caregiver fatigue is really, really real. And when we add in, what is, a typically developing child, or, a child that is not developing typically even, when we look at that model, rearing children is hard. When we add in any extra need or anything additionally, and yes, Stacy, I can definitely send you guys a copy of this as a PDF, okay? I'll send it to Allie so she can send out to everybody. But when we're thinking about caregivers, right, when we're thinking about this, it can be so much to hold. And without having supports, we're kind of alone. And so figuring out how do we support ourselves, how do we support one another in order to grow and to help ourselves, it's really, really important. This is a big task when we add in, like I said, any extra needs that come in, whether or not it's a learning disability, developmental disability, behavior disorder, anything else that we can throw into the pot, right? We have extra needs, and that creates a lot more weight in that. So how do we have community? Can we lean on community? And again, in that worksheet, there's a form to fill out on how we can build community and utilize our supports. It's very, very important. I think a lot of you guys are coming from the parent to parent or family to family group and have utilized the support group. But I would also recommend finding something like this, if not something else that works best for you and your family where you're at, so that way you have some support to feel, when you're carrying all this weight, you don't ever want to feel alone in it. Okay, so now we're going to move into the positive behavior support side of it, and we're going to start focusing on proactive supports. So when we think of proactive supports, it is the foundation of PBS. If we were looking at that iceberg earlier, the size of it, I want this to be the biggest part of it. When we work on things proactively, we are setting up everything for success. And proactive strategies can be so many different things. It can be communication. It can be our actual environment. All these little things and steps that we set up on a day-to-day basis to create ease for long-term success. And so the more work we put in those proactive strategies, the bigger that one is, the easier things get down the line. And that's what I love about these proactive supports, is that the effort we put into them, down the stream, it's so much easier, right? We're building that dam up really, really good. And it's just so much lighter downstream for us. And that's really what we're going to be focusing on right here with these proactive supports. So creating structure, it is, foundational that we have some sort of structure. And it's very, very strong. PBS, like I said, it's the pillar of our supports. So Structure is in everything. It's in our daily routines, it's in our homes, it's in our schools, it's in every little thing that we do. Having some sort of structure creates so much more ease. We have predictability, which lowers anxiety. We know what to expect, right? When we know what to expect, I feel so much better. I don't know about you all, but generally, as people, we like to know what we're up against and what is happening around us. It's so much easier. So, and again, we save energy when we know what to expect, right? We're not having to predict it. We're not having to think about it. We're not having to ruminate on it. We can really know what to expect. And so we can focus our energies on what is happening right now. So structure, again, it is in so many different ways. It's in time management. It's in what we're doing when we're doing it. And so utilizing these supports is really, really, really beneficial. So visuals is another one. And again, figuring out what works best for you and your child and your family specifically is going to be the best thing that we can really, really utilize from this. So what works well for one person might not work well for another person. So take that into consideration as we go through this and try to find the things and the little nuggets that can best help you and your family. So there's so many different types of visuals. It can be something, and I'm going to go left to right over here. So we have right here on the left, a simple schedule, right? And if you notice that child is touching it so they can see it, they can feel it, that tactile, they're integrating it also as they're using it. So that can be really, really helpful for some kids, but not all kids. Some kids feel like that's a demand. So figuring that out for your child and continuing to shift it until you get that good groove is really, really important. There's so many different ways to utilize it. You can use it right there. That's a Velcro board, right? So we can shift the order as we need to. We can see it every day and have it the same way even. That's one way to go about that. Another one right there on the second one in is the how to brush your teeth, right? So that is task analysis. How do I brush my teeth? If I'm going to take out my toothbrush and brush my teeth, there's probably way more steps in that than I can think of on the surface. So when we look at something like that, having a task analysis can be very, very beneficial for a lot of individuals. Or communication board, and that's the next one up. Communication board allows for children who might not be able to speak yet. They might still be developing that skill, or they might be nonverbal. And so the complexity of speech and language use outside of that, like an AAC device, or if it's a choice board, is really, really going to be dependent on where that child is. But playing around with some different ones can be very, very helpful at creating some ease, because communication is such a big need, right? I know that when, for instance, I'm in a big group and I can't talk yet, it can be really, really uncomfortable sometimes, especially if I really feel like I need to talk, right? So when we alleviate that need and give, the option of communicating, but let's say I decide I can take notes, right? That's one way I can get it out. So we're going to kind of talk about how we can offer some different things, but communication is such a big one. The last one right there is going to be a choice board. You can see right there, it says first, second, third, and these are options. So choice boards are really, really helpful. We're going to go into first then strategies in a little bit, but having some options that we can choose from really, really can be beneficial. So some visual schedules, and again, or visual reminders, visuals of any sort can be really, really helpful at helping a lot of individuals, and setting these up proactively and utilizing them and shifting them into our environment can be very, very helpful at creating ease. And then creating that predictability and transition. So like I said, we have a lot less anxiety when we know what's coming up. So can we give a warning? Figuring these things out ahead of time. I said earlier that when we think about, communication, how are we using it? If we use it as much as a proactive strategy as possible, we're going to have a lot more ease. So this can also be just expressing what is expected. And I know, even how we word that can be such a huge deal, right? We have 5 minutes until we leave the park. Oh man, we're leaving the park. I love the park. Versus we have 5 minutes and then we're going to hop or skip to the car and get on home, right? So how we can use language. There's really, really a lot into that. When we're thinking about this, though, like I said, communication, it does not have to be verbalized. I can also show a sign, right? That could be a reminder. I can have a hand signal with my child to demonstrate, 2 minutes, 2-minute warning, right? So then after that, I can just go, my child knows what that means now. So keeping those transitions as positive as possible is going to really, really help ease. I know for a lot of us with the younger children, transitions can be really, really hard. So figuring out a way that works best for our family and our children is really important to ease those transition. And again, the more work we put into it up front, the less we're going to have downstream. And so it makes it a lot easier. And again, finding that need, that just getting really, really curious with our children and what they like. Let's say they have a song they are obsessed with, and we are about to pull the last strand of our hair out because we've heard it so many times, right? But let's say our child really, really loves it. And so can we pair it with something else, like a transition? Can we use it as a way to get from an undesired task to a more desired task, or vice versa? How we can use the things that are interest in ways that benefit our children most, and finding those little things that they're really interested in can really, really help with transitions that are hard. So setting up the environment for success. And this can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So for this one, we're going to think about sensory needs. We're going to think about, am I overstimulated by my environment? Am I understimulated by my environment? Because it can go both ways, right? I might need something more. I might need something less. And sometimes it's really, really hard to tell which one it is without just, oh, we're going to go this way for a little bit and see if this helps. We're going to go this way for a little bit and see if it helps. So when we're thinking about this, you can reduce sensory overload by, reducing the noise, the clutter. Again, we're all humans and we're all doing our best. And so, no shaming in any of this, just trying to figure out ways that work best. Bright lights or low lights, right? So figuring out what is calming for us is going to be so different from person to person. Creating calming spaces. And when we're thinking about this, we want it to be accessible to the child and not used as a punishment. So does a child have a space, even if it's a very, very big, crazy, big, like busy house, and we can only carve out a little spot, that's fine. Even if it's a shared space, do they have a space where they can access independently when they decide to, and, on their own direction? And then how do we set that up? That's also really important. Are we using it as a space they can freely access, or are we using it as a space that they need to request? So figuring these things out to create as much, child-led control as we can within limits that we need. And then keeping support tools accessible to children, right? If we have, let's say, a fidget and that's their favorite thing when they're getting dysregulated, if we keep it on the top of their shelf and they can't reach it without asking us, it's probably not a good placement, right? So just thinking about this as we set up our environments, as we're thinking about any behaviors or things that are happening with our children, how can we make it as accessible for them as possible and reduce as much frustration from that as possible? And so then we're going to go ahead and move into everyday tips and tricks. First in language, and I had said this earlier, something that's clear and to the point. When we know what to expect, we're going to have way more success. So first then, right? First, we're going to go to the park and then we're going to go home. First, we're going to clean up our room and then we're going to play a game together. When we know what to expect and we can have something, especially after those undesired tasks, we can get through it a lot easier. And the other, on the flip side of that too, when we're thinking about, we can also use that for undesired task or desired tasks to get to the undesired task afterward. First, we're going to play for 5 minutes and then we're going to set a timer and get our room cleaned up. When we're making that transition fun, when we're using, first in language, we can get a lot of frustration reduced. And it can seem really, really simple on the surface. And there's a lot of different ways that we can do this. We can do this verbally, right? First, we're doing this, then we're doing this. We can have a visual reminder, such as this first then chart. And what's really nice about that first then chart is, let's say we have limited, speech. I can utilize a choice board with this. I can have, let's say, 6 different options that we've agreed upon and say, oh, we have to clean our room. What would you like to do after we clean our room? And have that child choose if they cannot vocalize that choice. So figuring these things out and utilizing it in a way that works, specifically for our child and where they are at developmentally and what their needs are, is a way to reduce so much stress and anxiety with undesired tasks and lower that, transition right there, the transition hardship that we're going to experience going from an undesired, task to, or a desired task to an undesired task. All right. So reinforcement and teaching new skills. When we think about new skills, we're going to have way easier of a time getting it accomplished if we have some reinforcement that comes alongside with it, right? If we have, if I do the dishes and then after that I'm not rewarded with clean dishes, I'm probably not going to want to do the dishes, right? It's an undesired task. My reward is at least I have something clean to cook on later on. Everything that we do has, something like that. So how can we reinforce it to encourage the skill to get done, right? If I also was doing the dishes and then let's say, someone would come in after every time I did it and just break all the dishes, I'd be less likely to do that task again. So when we're thinking about reinforcement, we need to make it consistent and at any approximation that we're getting on a skill that we're trying. And a good way to do this is to mirror skills or mirror something that we would like a child to do. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of feedback, I think. Just make sure we're all muted. Appreciate it. Okay. We can do that through a lot of different ways. Our tone, our body language, how we express our feelings, and bring that calm presence to guide something is really, really beneficial. So right here, I love this image. I use this for a lot of different trainings. It's my favorite. But even when we're doing something difficult and our child is having really, really, really big feelings with it, how are we showing up? And again, and I guess, as I said earlier, and I'm going to preface this the entire time because it's so hard sometimes when they have really, really big feelings, to not have big feelings with them, right? And so staying calm in that, right? If their dysregulation is dysregulating us, there's going to be a lot of dysregulation happening, right? I think that as fire and fire, fuel to the fire. But if we can figure out how we can hold that space calmly, model the desired behavior, and are really, really reinforcing it that way, we can get, that calm behavior in return. And that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And what's really interesting and cool about this is that when we stay that calm presence, we're not reinforcing their undesired behavior. We're showing them what to do when they feel really big feelings. And that's such a cool thing. All right. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so catching the good. I remember a coworker when I was really new into this position a couple of years ago, and I was talking about desired behavior that we want. And they were expressing that when they were young, that they were doing laundry and they were first learning how to do laundry, and that's a pretty big task. It comes with a lot of steps, and their parent was really frustrated that they didn't do it the right way. And so that has really stuck with me. When we're thinking about a task that we want accomplished, as adults, we tend to have a very specific idea on what that looks like and how we want it done. But when we're thinking about learning a new skill, generally it takes a lot of time and practice. And so when we find the things that are going well, even if there's a lot of other things that aren't going well, we're more likely to get success from it and to encourage that behavior to happen again, right? If I was doing laundry for the first time and then I got told that was terrible, like you use way too much soap and, all of it just turned out terribly, I would probably feel really discouraged and nervous to do laundry again. So when we think about this, it takes time, right? Find the approximations, find the attempts, and really, really focus on those things that are going well. Catch the good. So feelings of success are a huge predictor of whether or not we're going to continue in action. And so if we can have a small moment of success, even though there's a lot of other things that went wrong with that, right? That's not saying we don't address the fact that there was too much soap, right? Things are expensive. I don't want soapy clothes. We can still address it. But when we find the success, we are way more likely to continue a task, which means that maybe I have them do the first step, right? Turn on the washing machine, and then I add the soap, and then they do the next step, right? Keeping it age appropriate, developmentally appropriate, and adding in and helping when needed. So thinking about those things to help for success, right? Those are as much proactive things as we can while we're still working on a desired behavior and getting it accomplished. Be very, very specific, right? Children are very concrete thinkers. So be very specific with what we want and how we want it accomplished. And with that, also be very specific in our compliments. Again, they're concrete thinkers. So I love how you helped me with laundry, even though you were nervous about it. I love how you used your calm voice, even when you were frustrated, right? Be very specific with our compliments, with our things. Dun, dun, dun. We do not, Carissa, but we really, sorry, going back to the chat back in here, and I have other people that can help direct you to the our other trainings. We are probably going to be putting this possibly on as a resource, if not seeing about looking at this for a future date as well. Regardless, hopefully we should have it in some way or shape or form on our website at some point. So if are you on the PBS listserv? If not, people can hand you some directions on how to do that, and we can grab your your information and go from there for that, and let you know what we're planning on doing this when we know, because we're planning our next year coming up and all that. Okay, so be specific with praise. I love how you helped your sister. Thank you for putting away your trash when you finish. Be very specific so we know exactly what's going well and what we want. Encourage that behavior you want more of, right? Success breeds more action. Any small sliver of success encourages that behavior to happen again. So really be thinking about this when we're struggling with something. We don't need the full thing to be right. If we can get a sliver right, we can grow that sliver really easily with a lot of encouragement, shaping that behavior and really focusing on how we want that. So pre-teaching skills, and I love this. I love this very so much. We're going to teach and practice ahead of time, so that way when we go to practice, we know how to play, right? I always use the example, if I were to go join a soccer league and I have never touched a soccer ball in my life, should I go straight to the game? I don't think I'd do that well. So I probably wouldn't do that well if I did it that way. But if I practiced a lot, if I was taught the foundational skills, maybe I watched some videos on it, I learned it one way, and then I went and practiced it and I learned it another way. We can do it that way, right? Then I can go play soccer. I'm going to have way more success at that soccer game with all that extra time that I learned it, that I practiced it, all those sorts of things, right? There's a lot, and again, there's so many different ways to learn a skill. Some kids learn through hearing it. Some kids learn through doing it. Some kids learn from practicing it or seeing it. So playing around with how we're doing it, modeling it, doing it ahead of time, vocalizing something, right? Hey, later on, we are going to go to the store. I know that you don't like when we can't get a toy. So today is a not toy day. What do we do when we're frustrated? Maybe next time will be a toy day, right? Can we vocalize it and verbalize it? And again, keeping it developmentally appropriate. That might be a lot of words for someone that's not there yet. Oh, going to store. Oh, we can't get toy today. I know it's going to be hard. What do we do when we get mad, right? We can shift it. You can even, lower it from there. So shifting it to whatever need is there as best we can, and whatever need will, be met in a different way that way. So pre-teaching, again, there's so many different ways and layers that we can look at this, but practicing it. That is the biggest one to take away from this, is keep practicing the skill ahead of time. So that way, when we need it, we have an easier way to access it and utilize it. All right, so understanding behaviors and FERBs. So I am hearing a little bit of feedback again. I just want to remind everybody, as you come in or join us, if you could please hit that mute button for me, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, I have a squirrel brain. I get distracted. Okay, so understanding behavior and FERBs. FERBs are a huge concept. Okay, so FERBs are a PBS way of saying a functionally equivalent replacement behavior. And this is such a big idea. But realistically, most of us are actually using a replacement behavior all the time without even realizing it. That's the term. It's just a fancy scientific term, right? We need some way to categorize and think of something. So we're going to think of what behavior is happening and what would we like to happen instead that's easier to access. And we're going to go through ways to understand that and see that. Okay. So a functionally equivalent replacement behavior, again, fancy way of saying what would we like to see instead? What is a desired behavior? And when there's so many things that we want to think about when we're trying to shift a behavior. So earlier I just did an example of throwing a tantrum if I can't get a toy at a store, because I really want my toy and I really want to access it when I want it, right? Because that's my toy. I love that toy. It's the best toy ever. And I get big feelings when I get told no, right? So there's a few different things that are happening right there, right? I have a hard time accepting no. Gosh, I hate hearing no. It's terrible. And I scream every time I'm told no. I am throwing the biggest tantrum ever, every single time I'm told no. So when we're thinking about what would we like me to do instead right there, right? Well, maybe I can accept no. Or I can also, learn to ask, can I have a toy this time? No, I can't have a toy. Okay. When can I have a toy, right? There are some different things that we can happen right there in that scenarios. The need is I really, really, really want that thing that I want. I really, really want that toy. How can I get that? How am I expressing that I really want that toy? Can I do it by screaming? Yeah, I can express anything, even as an adult. Like, little do you guys know, I can express a lot of things by raising my voice, right? But I shouldn't. That's not really, socially appropriate, even as a, adult, apparently. Oh, that's such a lame thing. I really wanted that toy. So we're going to think about what we can utilize instead. So a safer, more workable way to get that need met. Prevents the need from a challenging behavior, right? If I have a new way to access it, then I don't even need to do that challenging behavior because I know the route to still access that thing without having to go that route. Yeah, I can definitely get that. I think every time, I think someone on the team hopefully has it. So I'm going to let them try. If not, I'll come back over here and put it in the chat. Um, yeah, so okay. Prevent the need from happening. It relies on teaching a desired behavior or needed skill by redirecting and reinforcing it, right? So the only way I'm going to get that new behavior is if I have some sort of reinforcement to shift to that. And then also something to remember when we're thinking about this is that it has to be easier. So when we're thinking about replacement behaviors, again, I want to highlight that it is very, very hard conceptually to think about that. So I want to use this example, right? So here's my undesired behavior. Here's the action that I'm going to use to get to that need. And I'm going to start figuring out how to shift this. So I need to teach a new skill. I need to teach a new skill. Thanks, Hallie. To get to that new behavior. So if you noticed, both of those, and I'm going to go back, are still touching on that need, right? Both of these are still getting me to that same destination, whatever that need is. Try that again. But it's going to be in a way that is, more appropriate. Maybe I am requesting, can I have a toy? I'm learning how to accept no. If I'm screaming every time someone comes near me, I maybe need to learn how to say, I need space, or just say all done if I can't vocalize. A way to demonstrate a need so that others know what I'm thinking and wanting. So when we're thinking about how to get from here to here, we're going to have that new skill taught. We're going to have it taught. We're going to have it reinforced. We're going to have to know what to expect when we do it. And we're going to have way more success when we're consistently reinforcing that new desired behavior. And I have time, so I'm going to kind of go into something I love to explain with this, because again, this is a really big concept. It doesn't have to be complicated. In that workbook, there is a lot of ways to demonstrate and shift and figure out, desired behavior, undesired behavior, how to shift it, that FERB replacement, all that. So utilize that workbook. But if we're thinking about a pathway, right, I'm trying to get to my backyard and I have a shed I need to access in my backyard. If I'm walking a same pathway over time, right? This is, let's say, the behavior that I'm showing on the surface right now. Maybe it's an undesired behavior. I don't know. But that pathway is going to get worn in, right? I'm walking that path continuously. That grass is going to start to go out. The dirt is probably going to start to get little crevice in it. We're going to have a little mini Grand Canyon in our backyard to get to that shed. Now, let's say something comes in and I can no longer access it. Maybe my neighbor comes and tells me, hey, actually, you're stepping in my grass and I really don't like that. And oh man, I thought my property line was right there. Okay, now I have to learn something new. Now I have to have a different way to access this shed. So when we're thinking about that, right, the new pathway that I create is still going to get me to that shed. I still need to get to that shed. So we're going to have an easier time accessing it. Like my neighbor's not going to yell at me anymore because I'm walking on their property. We're going to create that new pathway. So we're still accessing that shed regardless, but we're trying to figure out a way that, that's easier for me to do so, and that was reinforced and that fits in within the limits of whatever we need. Okay, so figuring out the need. So realistically, when we're thinking about the need, it can be so many different things. And I know that need can be, iffy term, because some people can say something like, well, my child doesn't need that toy, right? But they really want it, right? So we're thinking about what it is, regardless of whether or not we can truly agree that they actually need it or not, what it is that we're trying to get to access to, the need in whatever way that is. So what is my child getting or avoiding? So let's think about this. When we're trying to figure it out and, parse apart this, what are we trying to get access to or avoid? So common functions are going to be getting attention, escaping a task, gaining control or comfort, and gaining a desired item or activity. And so these are really easy ways to break down what is happening right there and why is it happening. So getting attention, right? Every time I am on the phone, Susie comes in and starts screaming. And maybe I didn't put two and two together. That's every time I'm on the phone. Maybe I'm just like, okay, this happens out of nowhere. I don't understand why she's doing this. Most things don't happen out of nowhere. It might appear like it does, but generally it's not happening out of nowhere. There's a reason. We just haven't figured out the need yet, right? And the need right then, if every time I'm on the phone and Susie's coming in and screaming, is she wants my attention. And every time I'm on the phone, I'm really, really paying attention to what I'm doing, and Susie kind of feels left out. So escaping a task, right? Every time I ask Johnny to clean his room, he gets really, really upset. Or anytime he knows he's about to have to clean his room, things kind of get iffy around the house. He's very temperamental. He is very, he starts crying more frequently, things like that. Gaining control or comfort. So oftentimes when we think about this one, it's going to be like a sensory need, or to feel like we have some level of control. And typically we hear this as sensory. I wanted to shift it a little bit because there's a lot more to it than that. And gaining that control access is a really, really, really big one that we're going to see oftentimes as a need that drives behavior. I feel like I don't have a voice. I really don't like that feeling. Or I feel like I don't know what to expect, and I really don't like that feeling. Both of those are that control. Comfort, right? I want my comfort item, or I want to avoid this feeling of yucky dishes. I really don't like that dishwasher. The dishes, that feeling, when you get that food caked on the bottom, yucky, right? So I really, really don't like that. So that was how we can think of that one, the sensory need. And then gaining desired, item or activity, right? Earlier talked about the toy, right? That is a really, really great example of that one. So when we're teaching FERBs, when we're trying to find this, and again, utilize that workbook because this is a really, really big concept. And I can do a whole training on this alone easily. But when we're trying to replace something and we're trying to, reinforce it, we have to have, like I said, easier to do, and it has to get reinforced. So we can show and explain it, verbalize what we're doing and why we're doing it. Practice during calm moments. So let's say if we work longer than 10 minutes, I start getting really, really antsy. I start crying or screaming. I need to learn how to request a break. I need to learn how to say, I need to walk away for a few minutes. So if we're utilizing this as my new replacement behavior, requesting a break, then we need a way for me to access it and utilize it, right? So I'm learning the skill. Hey, next time you would like a break, and maybe even early on, I might need to prompt it. And that's okay, right? We want the other person to be able to use whatever replacement behavior we come up with independently. If it's reliant on other people in the environment to do, or even partially do, it could be, it could create it where they rely on others. We really want individuals to be able to access and utilize whatever replacement we come up with independently. And now, again, initially we can prompt, we can set them up for success. We can talk about it ahead of time. Like for instance, earlier I said, when we go to the store, we can't get a toy today. What do we do when we get frustrated, right? So let's say we're working on how we handle discomfort and how we handle getting told no. we can talk about it. We can talk about it ahead of time. And again, shifting to whatever is developmentally appropriate, whatever is age appropriate for that child that you're working with. And then reinforce every effort. So if I am working on saying I need to take a break, when I say break, we're going to try to reinforce it as quickly and early as possible so we can understand that this action that I just did is resulting in the thing that I want, right? Getting away from this task for a few minutes. And with that, right, maybe I'm talking about it ahead of time. Okay, when we take break, if you get frustrated, we can take a break if you need it. I'm going to set timer for 5 minutes, right? We can set up parameters around it so that we can utilize it. But reinforcing any effort that we're getting towards it, even if it's not ideal, right? So maybe at first I might say, break, right? Instead of, can I have a break, please? Right? That's ideal, of course. But maybe, I only have one word that I can utilize. That's fine. And again, when we're working with nonverbal individuals, if our child is not speaking or speaking yet, we can also utilize hand signals. We can utilize, and sometimes we'll see things like break cards, and it can get really iffy with that. Because again, earlier I said that a child needs to be able to independently access always. How often are they going to carry a break card around, right? So things that are on the person are as easy as possible. Again, easy as possible, easier than the undesired or the behavior that we're trying to work on. So hand signals can be really, really helpful. Code word, if the child doesn't feel comfortable have that skill yet, we can just say monkey or blue. Let's say they have a couple words. Can we utilize it in a good way? Can we even do approximations like like this? Anything. Get creative with that. And again, do it as easy, model it if needed. When we're teaching it, it's really important to make it accessible to that individual where they're at. So model and talk about, find ways to get creative with that. And with all of these, if anyone ever needs any extra help or they're like, oh, I'm trying this thing and it's just not working, feel free to reach out to the PBS team. There's going to be a link at the end on how to reach out to us and apply for services. But you're also welcome to send an email. And I do believe that Nick had posted the PBS. Okay, he had posted the trainings. Yeah, scroll up. But if we can get PBS email, right? pbs@hsc.wvu.edu. Shoot us an email at that one and we will get back with you. A behavior specialist will get back with you. We can point you to how we can help, discuss the things that we need to discuss, all that fun stuff. Okay. So again, big topic. So we're good with that one. Look through that way. If you need help, reach out. We're here for a reason. So emotional regulation and the brain. So emotional regulation is a really, really, really big skill. And it takes a lot of time to develop. So when we're thinking about this, a stressed brain cannot process or think clearly, right? If I am in distress, if I am uncomfortable, if I don't have my basic needs met, I'm not going to be in a good place right there. So when we're learning a new skill, I need my brain to be in a good place and be able to take in and listen to what's happening in order to achieve that skill. Oftentimes when we're thinking about helping kids emotionally regulate, we want to do it right then, right? Oh, I learned that taking a deep breath helps. So maybe my child is screaming and I might say something like, take a deep breath. But my child does not have any idea what I mean yet. We have not practiced it, right? That probably isn't going to be the most helpful right then. So pre-teaching, earlier I discussed that. When we want a skill to be utilized, we need to show it ahead of time. We need to talk about it. We need to explain how to access it, and we need to practice it, right? Can't throw our kids to the soccer game. Thanks, Teresa. We need them to do soccer practice first. So utilizing it when our brains are in our best place, we're happy, we're comfortable, our needs are met, we're regulated, we're going to have a way easier time working and learning something. So again, kids need to be calm before they can connect or problem solve. And so we're really going to go in later on about how to help kids regulate when we're in the heat of things and how to move through those things. But in the moment, let's just remember that can't learn something if we're dysregulated. Have you ever been like in the middle of an argument and you can't think of what to say in that middle of the argument because you're just so frustrated. You are upset, you're dysregulated, nothing is going right, you are just not having it right now. And then you're going to sleep that night and you're laying in your bed and you're like, well, also, and I can't believe I said this. I should have said this. And this one time they, so you're thinking about all those little things. Now, in the moment, you had a harder time accessing that because you were so dysregulated. You just weren't there yet. And that's because our brains, our blood is going to our amygdala, it's going to our fight or flight area, it's going to our response, our stress response in our body. It is not giving us a chance to get blood up to our frontal lobe where we need to think clearly, to come up with solutions, and to manage what we're feeling. So keeping that in mind. And so when we also focus on regulating first, if let's say someone is really, really dysregulated, it's really sometimes easy to think of that as giving in, but it's important to remember it's not giving in. It's setting them up for success so that they can actually hear what we're saying and needing from them right then. Okay. So 3 R's: regulate, relate, reason. This is by Dr. Bruce Perry. And this is something that we utilize all the time. It is an amazing, amazing system. There is a lot of detail in that Growing Together handout for families to utilize that really, really goes into how to utilize this and all that. We're going to go over a brief overview of this. This is a really big topic, but let's think about when we're rarely, like I said, dysregulated. We are not hearing right then. So this system allows us to come back into our bodies, calm down a little bit so that way we can hear and think and move forward. When we're thinking about how to work with an individual that is having a really, really hard time right then, our child is really, really upset. They're not hearing us. They're not calming down. Nothing we're saying is working. We're going to regulate first. Okay. So regulate first, and then we're going to work on relating, and then we're going to go on to reasoning. So regulate: offer a hug, guide to a calm space, encourage deep breaths. We need that person to feel regulated first before we can even, talk to them. I don't know about you, but if I'm very, very upset and someone's trying to talk to me, I'm just like, I can't even hear you right now. Please don't talk to me, right? We get really big feelings around that. There's too much happening in our body and we don't know what to do with it quite yet. So relating, connecting with empathy and understanding, validate their feelings, provide reassurance, listen with empathy. And again, I'm going to go into a lot more detail with this, but if you need additional help, please utilize that guide. And then reasoning. After we have gone through things, I am now regulated. I feel connected with the person I'm working with or talking to. We're going to go into that reasoning stage. And that is when we're going to get the most bang for our buck. We can utilize a stage as a way to discuss anything that happened and also learn what we can expect or do or not do next time and figure out what happened. We can, talking about things is really beneficial, right? And so when we can understand what happened, why we felt that way, why we acted that way, why they acted that way, why they felt that way, we can work on problem solving and coming up with a better thing that we need to do. So regulate, calm in the body first. So use this as soon as you notice signs of dysregulation: raised voice, pacing, crying, fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, any discomfort that, that individual shutting down. The earlier we notice signs of dysregulation and can get to get to regulating, the more success we're going to have at helping that individual calm back down and be able to listen. So again, I said this, a little bit ago, when we think about this, it's not giving into whatever they want, right? Let's say that, Johnny is screaming because he wants that toy. We went to the store, we talked about it, but he's still really, really upset. He wanted that toy and we said no. And, in your head, you're going, Johnny, I talked about this, man. We talked about this. You knew what to expect, right? But Johnny's still upset. He still has big feelings. He's still working on the skill of accepting no. So right then, right, we want to say, but we talked about this, right? We're trying to use our logic as adults. We really, really love going to our logic place. But Johnny can't hear us right now. Johnny is so dysregulated and focused on that toy and stuck on that toy that he can't hear us right now. And so when we notice that discomfort, we notice he starts to get red, we notice he starts pacing, we notice that his fists are balling up. This is when we're going to start using that regulation. Again, I read dysregulated brain can't hear us. They can't learn new skills. They're not going to be able to follow instructions. So calm in the body prepares the brain for connection and learning so we can shift back to whatever boundary we need right there. Provide sensory regulation or physical comfort tailored to your child's needs, right? If I say, go in for a hug and Johnny pushes back, Johnny doesn't need a hug right then, right? Respecting the space and whatever the individual needs right then. Relating. So this is where we're going to build emotional connection, right? Now that we are more regulated, we have done some deep breaths. We have, given some space, whatever we have talked about. And again, I really, really want to highlight that the pre-learning of all of this is so, so beneficial. The more we know what to expect or how to practice it, the easier it's going to happen in the moment when we need to utilize it. Giving context to what deep breaths look like, practicing them when we're calm is setting us up for success when we are at the soccer game. And I'm going to keep using that example because it's my favorite one, but we have to practice it first in order to be able to utilize it in the moment. So, if you come home, after this, you're like, oh, we talked about deep breathing and how good it is. Like Johnny gets upset later and I'm going to tell him, hey, take a deep breath. Johnny doesn't know yet. So I know I've repeated this, but practice, practice, practice. So we have context for when we need to call upon it and utilize it. Okay, so relating. Now that we are regulated, we're going to move into feeling connected. This is going to continue to calm that person down and pull back out of whatever happened, whatever big feeling they were stuck into. So after your child's body has calmed down enough to make eye contact or respond to you, we can start utilizing this, right? And this is a really, really good way to test if they are ready. Can I stand next to them or are they going to scream at me? Can I make eye contact with them or are they going to get really defensive? So figuring it out and testing the waters a little bit to just see if they're even ready to move to the stage yet. If not, move back to regulation. No big deal. It might take longer. And the more we practice this and the more we get good at staying that calm water and opening the door for them to come in, the easier it'll get with time. So patience with this. New things take time. So again, the why for this. It helps your child feel seen, heard, validated, understood, right? One of the biggest needs that we have as humans is to feel understood, valid, safe in our bodies, safe in our feelings. And when we can relate with somebody, we can say, and I want to highlight again, there's a huge, huge difference between validating someone's feelings and validating their actions, right? So let's say Johnny threw a book because he is so upset. I might say something like, I know you're very frustrated that you couldn't get the toy. I hear you. I hear you. It's really hard when we're told no, right? All these statements, they're not validating the fact that he threw that book. They're talking about the feelings that he's having that led to that book getting thrown. We're going to have time, to address the fact that the book got thrown. I will always say, we want to address the things that are happening. We don't ever want to, brush it under the rug. There's times, of course, where, it is appropriate, right? We don't need to have a whole battle over something small, but big things we can address. We're not saying to ignore it. Come back to it when the body is ready and he can hear. So reason with them. I hear you. It's really, really hard to be told no. So validating statements, have a calm body yourself, model it, model. Always keep that modeling mindset open so that way they can practice it. Because earlier I said, I know it's a lot of weight to carry, but unfortunately, children are working off of us adults. And so we have to keep that calm body. And if we can't, let's say we get frustrated, we raise our voice. Hey, earlier I got frustrated and I raised my voice a little bit. It's hard for me when I get frustrated too. I'm working on it, right? Vocalize it. Okay. So an example, when your child has stopped crying, but is still hugging their knees, right? So they have stopped, they're no longer hyperventilating. They're no longer screaming and crying, but they're still showing signs of discomfort. They're hugging their knees after losing a game, right? I can sit beside them, put an arm gently around their shoulder. Again, this is if they would like it. So that's going to really, really depend on what they need and where they're at, and say something like, I know you're feeling disappointed. I know it's really, really hard. I understand you wanted to win, right? Building that connection, opening that door. So now we're going to move into problem solving, which is that reasoning stage. So once your child is calm, can listen without interrupting. That's a big one, right? They can listen without interrupting. And it might take redirection, of course, as needed, but is responding to our cues adequately. We can move into this next stage, which is going to be logic and problem solving. We're going to think about what happened, what went right, what went wrong, and why all those things happened, what we felt, all this. We can talk about anything needed. We don't have to, though, right? Leave it to the child, or as much as what we need to accomplish with this. So how to do this, offer a short explanation, brainstorm solutions together, set clear and realistic boundaries, and talk about what we can do next time. So example right here, after your child has relaxed and is playing quietly, you might say, hey, next time you feel frustrated, Let's try taking a break before it gets too big. What do you think about that? Oh, okay. Let's talk about how we can request taking a break now, right? We can go from what skills they have and what we're seeing right there displayed. Um, hey, what do you think would help next time? Like, oh gosh, you got so frustrated. I really felt how frustrated you were. What do you think you need next time? Right? We can talk about it. I hear you, but we can't throw books when we feel frustrated. So what can we do instead? Yeah, let's practice that. Just examples of that. Okay, supporting family wellness. And wellness is really, really crucial. So in PBS, we focus on the 8 dimensions of quality of life. And we're going to go through those in a second. But when we think about this, wellness kind of often goes to the back burner when things are going wrong. And earlier talked about proactive strategies, family wellness, individual wellness, personal wellness. All these things are crucial to a well-regulated body and mind. And so while it's easy to like say, oh, I don't have the time to do this. And I know as adults, especially adults that are working with children that have, extra, or different needs, it can be so easy to push ourselves aside. It can be easy to push yourself aside with all this. But when you're regulated, when you have what you need, you're a better person for it, right? And the same goes for our children. So kids do their best when they have their needs met across many different areas. Wellness supports emotional, physical, and social growth. All these things are very, very crucial for overall well-being. And it's not just about stopping the behavior, it's about building a thriving life, right? So this might not be directly related to stopping that behavior, but when we take the time to focus on all dimensions of wellness, we're setting up for success because we have our needs, our emotional, our internal, our physical needs are all met in different ways. Our social battery is full, all these little things that we might not know we need, or we put on the back burner. We can meet those needs and we're going to have way, way more success down the line for putting the extra effort in to meet those needs. So the 8 dimensions of quality of life are emotional. And why does this matter? Naming and normalizing feelings, co-regulation tools, it helps meltdowns. So physical, sleep, hydration, hunger, nutrition, meds, if I'm on meds, am I taking them regularly? And movement, it keeps our bodies and brains steady. Social, so connections, feeling connected to other people in our whatever circle we're in, feeling connected to our community, feeling connected to our friends, having friends. It helps lower our anxiety. It helps us feel like we belong, and that is such a strong, important feeling. And sometimes this one can be a hard one to meet, but finding ways, getting creative, whether or not that's a group for kids that are similar or an interest group if they have a special interest, things like that. It can boost cooperation and really, really help that person feel useful, fulfilled. Intellectual curiosity, right? We all are curious creatures. We all need to learn no matter where we are at or, our intellectual, abilities. We have a need to feel purposeful and to stretch our brains. And that can just do so much at building confidence, building abilities, helping the person feel, like I said, useful, needed, stretching that, brain muscle. Environmental, having predictable sensory friendly spaces is so important, and visuals can really help prevent emotional overload or even understimulation. So spiritual, and again, this does not have to be related to religion necessarily. It can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Feeling we have meaning, value. It can be connecting to nature, even having something that feels bigger than ourselves in some way is so beneficial and helpful. It can really anchor us and help us feel present and stabilize in whatever way. So again, it doesn't have to be religious, it can be, but finding that even just going on nature walks can be just so invigorating. And also can hit that, hit the physical need as well. So occupational, purposefulness, roles, jobs at their ability level. This doesn't have to be, oh, Johnny needs to go to work, right? This is, what does Johnny do really well? Let's say he loves helping others. Can I assign him as the person that sets up the dishes, the table for dinner? Can I assign him the person that is the designated lost remote finder because he's so good at finding lost things, right? Finding purposefulness is so big at finding that fulfillment in your soul, and growing that confidence. And I have something to offer the world. Financial. So again, this doesn't have to be money. We're talking about kids here. So predictable plans around money, activities can reduce your stress and power struggles. But realistically, with this one, I'm thinking more of having a way to earn and knowing what earning means, having those sorts of things. Again, age appropriate way. I kind of go into that more in the growing together guide. Again, I'm going to keep saying that through this thing, but it really, really is helpful supplemental stuff. So easy wellness boost, right? So now that we talked about this, what are some ways that we can actually utilize this? And again, in the guide, you'll find more activities and more things to consider as you fill this out for yourself. But emotional. So you can use daily feelings check-ins. You can, and if, nonverbal, we can use collaring. You can use a word on the AAC device. It's 3-step calm plan. Praise efforts that are happening, right? Getting that emotional thermometer filled up. Physical movement snacks. So can you add in a little tiny little bit of breaks and periodically that help get that movement need in? Every 60 to 90 minutes or whatever that individual needs specifically for them. There's no one size fits all for any of this. Water within reach, consistent sleep routines. And that's such a really big one, right? If we're tired, if we're not well rested, we are not at our best. We are cranky, not happy. Even as adults, right? With higher emotional regulation skills, it's still hard for us to regulate when we're really, really tired. And a sensory diet, right? Things that they can access easily that gets their sensory needs in. If they like compression, if they like to chew things, if they like to fidget, do they have access easily and readily to these things? Social, 10 minutes of special time daily with mom or dad or, a friend even, coach play invitations. How do we utilize that, right? Do they know that skill? Can we work on that skill? Can we keep developing that skill and have a goal with it? Predictable weekly meetups. Can we have a way to know what to expect and check back in as a family or check back in with our friends, whatever that is, and utilizing, that in some capacity. Intellectual choice between 2 tasks. Having a choice, feeling like we have some level of control is so, so big. And earlier I also talked about task analysis. Can we, break up really, really big things into small things? One other way that I can, do intellectual is also playing the what if game. What if this happened? What if a big blue ball fell from the sky? What would we do, right? We can get silly, we can get creative, we can think about it. Well, does that happen? Again, keeping it age appropriate, developmentally appropriate, keeping it fun, utilizing that to stretch our brains, though, can be really, really, really beneficial. Oh, and I skipped one. Okay, environmental, one clutter-free area. Again, we're all trying our best here. We don't always have perfectly cleaned houses, and that's fine. But can we have a clutter-free area that feels good for, Johnny or even myself? If we get frustrated as a parent, having that space for yourself can be really beneficial. Dim lights, soft sounds, whatever the individual likes. Some people actually prefer bright lights and they feel better with that. So that's okay too. Visual schedules, first then. Accessible, right? We need to set the environment up for success so that that person has a calm, safe environment that feels good for them, that they feel fulfilled in. Spiritual, and also in all of these, offering choices for that individual so that they can choose the things that mean wellness for them personally. And that's so important. So spiritual, 3 breath pause before transitions, family gratitude jars at dinner, 5 minutes in nature, right? Just a simple little walk, sitting on the front porch if I'm not up to walking, whatever that is, opening up the window and listening to the birds. Any of these things can be so beneficial. And then utilizing faith culture as desired for your family and incorporating that into little things can really, really build up that muscle right there. So occupational, helper jobs that match ability, right? Table wiper, pet feeder, any of these sorts of things. Like I said, remote finder, visual chore strip for that individual, in a way that they break down and understand tasks. We need to break it down more. Do they want it just written out? How do they want things? Self-care steps with prompts, all these sorts of things to help them feel purposeful, good. And then financial, visual allowance, token system, plan ahead, a yes budget for outings, right? You can have 2 yeses today or, something similar to that. Preview costs with a picture, right? So to avoid those battles, right? So how can we set them up for success? Okay, you have 2 yeses today, but you can only spend X amount. Okay. Family and child strengths. When we think about these, earlier I said that, when we're working on things proactively, utilizing the things that are already there is going to be our best route to accomplishing things as quickly as possible. So thinking about the strengths that are already present for ourselves, for our families, for our children, is going to be really, really beneficial at building up that family. Building confidence and skills, spot the wins. Spot the things that are going well, spot the good, focus on what your child can do, whether that's solving a puzzle, showing kindness, or remembering steps in their routine, right? What is that child doing well? What can they do well? What is happening? Name it out loud. I saw how gently you petted the dog. That shows self-control. Or you stuck with the puzzle even when it was tricky. So grow from success. Use strong areas as a base to build other skills. What does that child do well? What do I do well? What does a family do well? How can I use this to build new skills? And with the whole strengths thing, I encourage you again. I'm not like trying to promote this. It's just really helpful, that handout. But utilize that handout because it really goes into individual strengths for the family. It goes into individual strengths for the child. And it also goes into how to find hidden strengths. And so hidden strengths are something like every time I say something, Johnny just wants to argue with me, right? I could say that the sky is blue and he'd argue with me. I could say, so that kind of thing, right? It feels like something negative or that we don't like on the surface that we have to, that's happening. But underneath it, right? So if Johnny is doing this every single time, that shows a lot of deep thinking, right? That shows intellectual curiosity. That shows persistence. So, or like, strong sense of like, justice or however it is. Finding that little hidden thing under the surface and leaning into that and letting that muscle get flexed in a different way can really, really alleviate things like the arguing over everything. And then figuring out how to, avoid power struggles, of course, is a really, really beneficial one. But even when things don't look like that on the surface, finding out how to use it in a good way and to increase that in a different way, because that's going to be there no matter what, right? If we're seeing something persistently, it's going to be there no matter what. Can we use it in a way that's more proactive and gets that need met more appropriately? So that way we're having less arguments at dinner time. Okay, so gratitude. This is a really great one. A shift that eases the tough times. So daily share at dinner. We talked about this earlier, utilizing this for the emotional needs. Or also, this can also be spiritual, but daily share at dinner or bedtime. Each person shares one thing they enjoyed, learned, or appreciated that day. There's so many different ways to do this. You can use a gratitude jar or wall, write moments like big or small that happened that you really, really enjoyed on slips of paper and put it into that gratitude jar. And then you can come back to it every month, every couple of weeks, every, let's say Friday night, and think about what happened well this week and reflect on it. And celebrate the small wins. And when we do this as a family, when we make this the culture of the family, we can see really big shifts happen really quickly when we're focusing on the good. I like to think of this as, what are we watering? When we are having a lot of things that are going wrong, it gets really, really easy to unintentionally have our watering can in our hands, right? And be focusing on the things that are happening wrong and unintentionally water those. And it makes it feel so much bigger. When we instead are focusing on the things that are going well. And again, I want to say this, preface this, that this is easy to say, right? When things are hard, it's really hard. When you're juggling a lot, it's really, really hard. But finding small ways to practice gratitude and to find things that are going good and to water that as much as possible can do so much, can just do so much. Doesn't negate the hard times though, never does. Okay, so growth mindset, watering their flowers, acknowledge effort. You worked hard on that instead of, oh, you're so smart, right? What are we encouraging? I loved how hard you worked on that, not that you got the thing, this is the laundry example all over again, right? I love that you tried to do the laundry. I love that you were willing. we could really, really use our words in a way that shifts what is happening and what is being focused on. Normalize learning curves. So you haven't mastered it yet, right? Instead of, oh, you can't do this, because that comes in the inner voice. Oh, you can't wipe the table, right? Let me just wipe it down for you, right? It happens. You're, all humans, but just being really, really cognizant of that as much as we can. Our phrasing is so important. And when we catch ourselves slipping into that negative phrasing, that's going to shut something down, catching it. And, oh, you know what? I said you can't do that. And that's not true. You are so good at a lot of things. I just got really frustrated. Would you like me to show you how to wipe the table differently? Okay. Encourage persistence. Pair praise with the process, right? You kept trying different ways until you got it. I love that you didn't give up. Or, hey, yeah, maybe you never got it done, but I love that you kept trying, even for a good 20 minutes. Would you like me to help and see if I can help you? Right? No matter what's happening, we can find some way to find that tweak and encourage what we're seeing and what is going well in that. So now we're going to pull it all together. And it looks like I might have enough time to kind of go through a little bit of that guide for those who have not used it, or if anyone has any questions on anything that we have done. So pulling it all together. Start small. Nothing happens overnight. What small steps have we done or can we do we need to do that can create change? So no one expects you to jump from the bottom of the stairs all the way to the top in one go. I recently broke my foot, and I can tell you from experience that trying to go from the top of the stairs to the bottom of the stairs really quickly does not end well. Go figure. So breaking it into steps, right? One step at a time is going to be something so crucial that you can actually stick with. I know for myself, earlier as I said, success breeds success. That if we start too big, if we try to jump in and take all of these things that we can learn and utilize and jump with all at once, we're not going to have a lot of success with it. And we're going to feel really discouraged because it's going to be too much. So 1 to 2 strategies that you can utilize, and then take those strategies and let them grow, let them flourish, follow them through. If change isn't happening right away, understand that change takes time. Nothing happens overnight. Nothing happens instantly. Everything takes time to adjust to figure out the best way that works for our families, the best way that works for our children, the best way that works for us. And then celebrate the progress, no matter how small, right? So no matter what's happening or how it's happening, find the things that are going well and celebrate them. And I know I repeat this a lot, but it is so beneficial when we shift that mindset a little bit. We made it through homework without tears today. That was such a big deal, right? Because last week or 3 weeks ago or 2 months ago, we would never made it without, through homework without tears. And yeah, maybe there was still some screaming. Maybe there's still a couple things that got thrown, but we're working on it. We made it through without tears. Now we're going to work on how we handle big feelings even more, right? Celebrating the small wins. It does not have to be the whole thing. So consistency matters more than perfection. And for that matter, effort matters most for ourselves, for our children, when we're trying to work on hard things, finding the little things that are going well, finding the things that we are doing. So even if it's hard, we're still showing up, right? And that shows a lot of strength. That shows a lot of power. And the effort is always the most important. So utilizing daily support checklists is a really, really good way to check in with yourself and also to keep yourself organized and help give yourself little reminders. So structuring this out for yourself in a way that works best for you. Keep a steady routine so your child knows what to expect. You could use this for, a to-do list that's in front of, the bathroom mirror. You can do it, on their way out the door, but finding some way that we can say, oh, we did this, we did this, we did this, or we need to do this. And when we utilize this, make sure that we're doing it in a way that is encouraging, rather than like, oh, well, you didn't get this and this done, right? We want to be able to see progress, not highlight lack of progress. Okay. Environment for success. Adjust noise, lighting, and clutter to reduce the stress. Finding ways to do that, right? Making a checklist for yourself on, I need to pull this down. I need to get this. I need to buy new light bulbs for Johnny's room, whatever that is, right? One wellness activity. So even for 5 minutes can be really helpful. Walk outside, stretch, read, or listen to music together. Connection before correction. And this is such a big one. We cannot Correct, until we have had time to come together. Otherwise, we can deteriorate that relationship. Our goal is always to feel connected and to keep that connection. When our connection cup is filled up, we are at our best. Um, so when we see any signs of it, when we can check in with it, it can be really, really helpful. Setting little reminders for yourself of this can help really, really build up a habit and can set you up for success. And then when nothing is working, be realistic with yourself, give yourself some breaks, set realistic expectations for yourself and your children. But if you're ever stuck and you're having a hard time, you're trying everything, the way is too much, and you just need a break, whatever it is, step away. Never feel, that you always have to be able to hold it. If you need a 5-minute break, that's okay. If you need to reach out to, somebody else for help, if you need to reach out to a friend, a colleague, if you need to reach out to some support groups, whatever it is that you have, do so. It's not, always ask for help. That is the biggest one is, I've highlighted this a lot enough today. There's a lot that comes into this, and it's a big weight to be somebody's whole safe space, right? It's really a lot. So all these sorts of things, yes, they can help reduce, behaviors over time. And yes, they can really work for families. Sorry, there was a loud truck passing by the window. But it all takes time. And so keeping that in mind and then using your support to help build you up when you need it. So your child's tough moments do not mean you're failing. They mean you're still problem solving, right? We're not going to climb that stairs in one day. We're going to keep trying different things until we figure out how to climb that stairs though. So sometimes the best thing that you can do is stop, breathe, and try again later, right? And then when we model this, our kids see us modeling it. When we say, oh, this is too much, I'm overwhelmed, I can't get through this, I need to step away, our children see us doing so, and it's going to be beneficial for them as well. And, we can't pour from an empty cup. And I know I hate these cliche sayings, but really, if you're on empty, there's not much else that you can give. And so finding ways to give yourself self-help and reach out is so, so, so important. So reflection, reflecting back on what's working, what's not working, all of that. Again, there's things in the and the thing that I handed you guys. Sorry, gosh, I keep saying that, don't I? Okay. So what's one change though that you will try this week? What's one thing that's going well? How will you measure success for yourself? How will you measure if it's helping or if it's not helping? Finding that out so that way you can set yourself up for success with this. And making sure that you have support along the way is going to be the best thing that you can do for yourself in all of this. And then write down your goal. And keep it somewhere you can see it, right? Maybe on your nightstand, maybe on the fridge, wherever you're going to see it the most, maybe on your desk at work. Finding a way to write down what your goal is. And that goal can shift, regularly, and it should shift regularly, right? We're not static people. So in all of this, there's a lot, there's so much when we think about the whole picture, right? When we think about the mountain we have to climb, it can feel so overwhelming, but even the small things that we're doing matter. And it might not feel like it in the moment, but every small seed that we plant has the opportunity to create change. And I use the example, like I love my metaphors. If you guys have not, found us out in the last hour and 20 minutes, I love my metaphors, but, oh, and then I lost my metaphor I was going to use for that one. Oh, the dam metaphor. I got it. Okay. So, if we are, have a town downstream that's flooding, right? Oh, gosh, a town is downstream is flooding. If we just keep dealing with it when the flood happens, we're not going to have a lot of success, right? It's like throwing sandbags on a river that's over your head. It's not going to do much. If instead we put the things in place, the proactive stuff in place to build up our abilities, to build up our strengths, to build up our environment, to do all the little things that we need to protect ourselves from flooding downstream, that effort is really, really going to pay off. Even one tiny little sandbag at a time can really, really make a huge change downstream, right? So all the tiny little things that we do matters. All those little seeds that get planted, they can really create fruit down the line. They can create, vegetables for the winter. So what you are doing is very important. What you're doing with your children, being here today, showing up for here is really, really big. Progress may be slow, but every effort counts. Your love, patience, and consistency are shaping your entire child's life and their future, the things that they pick up on. And, that feels like a big weight sometimes, knowing that every little thing can have an impact, right? But we're all human, and accepting that, knowing that, verbalizing it is such a huge strength. The changes that you make now can ripple forward. So with that, if you would like to make a referral, if you would like to access PBS services, you can do so with this QR code. They are accessible to all people within West Virginia. They are accessible regardless of age or where you're at. You can access services. Now with that, our intensive services, which are services that we offer with families, at-risk youth, they're at risk of out-of-home placement. Those are for youth under 22. And they cannot be receiving IDD or CSED. However, brainstorming and person-centered planning, those services are accessible to everybody, right? You can use that on yourself. Hey, this thing is happening and I'm not really sure what to do with it. I would like to talk about it and get a brainstorming in. Person-centered planning, right? Maps and paths. We have a lot of different resources and ways that we can work that. We can do it in so many different ways. But those are accessible to everyone in West Virginia. And here is a QR code for our presentation for today. But I did want to open it up to see, though, does anybody have any questions, or would they like to go over anything in that handout, that workbook? Or if you have any questions, I do request, though, that everybody, if they can give a chance to, I'm going to send it to Allie later so she can send it to the people that came as well, as a reminder if you're unable to do so, to get that evaluation sent. And I appreciate everyone sitting here with me today. We've got a pretty decent sized group, so if anyone would like to raise their hand or jump in on the chat, you're more than welcome to. One of us can answer your questions that you have as best as we can. Whatever, I have this period of time where I'm like, dude, my head is always just in that waiting little game right here. And you're very welcome, everybody. I'm glad that you guys liked the presentation. And like I said, reach out to PBS if you guys need anything. If there's anything that you guys have questions on, you guys start utilizing these strategies. And let's say you're hitting a wall and you just really cannot figure out how to climb over that wall. Don't be alone in it. You can reach out to us and we can figure out, resources for you. We can figure out how to work on that behavior with your family. We can give you guys some help. We can give you, help you make visuals if you're really struggling, like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm not creative, but I really, really need this. Reach out to us. We'll do a brainstorming and we can help you guys. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. I was thinking that, I was like, I should have grabbed that link and got it. And you're very welcome, everybody. Okay, so I don't see any questions, so I will, zip it for a little bit and let Alicia jump in now.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to thank you very much for giving everybody all that helpful information. Hopefully it was beneficial to them. And our next, just for everyone to keep an eye out, our next virtual speaker series session is September 23rd from 11 to 12:30, and that session will be on feeding and swallowing. So that's just something to look out for too in the future. But if there's no other questions, I guess we can conclude our session.
All right. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much, Allie, for this opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. And please, if anyone has any questions in the future, reach out to either me or Ashley. We'll answer any questions we can. All right. Thank you so much
throw
for
my
coming.
email real quick in the chat in case anyone needs it.
Oh, that's fine.
It would have been helpful for me to have it on a slide, but I'm not a forward thinker here, apparently.
And this will be on the website too, a recording of this training today. So you'll see that. You can look for that in the future. All right. Well, everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.